Hi, it's Tim Hagen from Progress Coaching, and welcome to another episode of Coaching Conversations. And I wanted to make you aware of something very cool that we're doing on a subscription basis, and we'll put a link in each one of our episodes. But every Wednesday, we're going to be doing what we call an audio podcast workshop. That workshop will be roughly about 14 to maybe 20 minutes per episode, with each month having a theme from a coaching model, using feedback strategically, to coaching self-awareness, and so on. So if you could, look in the body or in the content description of each episode, and you will see a link where you can join this subscription. These are literally 4 workshops every month, teaching specific strategies to address a particular area of workplace coaching, as it relates, again, to things like awareness, motivation, teamwork, and what have you. Here's the cool thing. It's only $10 per month, and each month you will get a handout that we will follow along with. So we also give you a tool for you to take notes as we go through each episode. We hope you'll check it out. Hi, everybody. It's Tim Hagen from Progress Coaching, and today we're going to have another episode of Sales Leadership Conversations. And today our guest is Tim Kasida from Allego, and I've had the privilege of working with Allego, and I've done a lot of joint webinars with them. They do some really cool things in the marketplace that sales organizations would really benefit from. So I'm really happy to have Tim here with us today. How are you, Tim?
I'm fantastic. Thanks so much for having me, Tim.
Sure. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself and maybe a brief introduction of Allego.
Sure. So I'm Tim Kasida. I run our strategic alliances business at Allego. And in a nutshell, Allego is a modern sales enablement technology provider. So we provide a technology platform. Today, we're utilized by 8 of the top 10 financial services companies, 8 of the top 15 medical device companies, lots of leading folks in tech, pharma, and beyond. And what we provide is really an end-to-end capability from learning, coaching, which I know is near and dear to your heart, Tim, collaboration, all the way through to enabling sales teams to take what they've learned, engage more effectively with their customers.
You know, it's interesting to hear you say that, because I've obviously had the privilege of seeing the Allego platform. And for our audience, when we talk about sales enablement, Allego is doing something that's very unique in the marketplace. So when Tim was kind enough to bring up my own company about coaching, they do something that's really cool with their platform. They bring coaching inside the organization that really prepares the organization to share content, share practice, share experiences, share insight of how to win deals. It's very, very unique. So with that being said, Tim, what are some of the things you're seeing in the marketplace due to the crisis and potentially organizations' ability to sell?
I mean, it really touches on what you just said, Tim. There's really, at a 30,000 foot level, we know the challenges today in sales organizations are, one, ensuring that my employees are engaged effectively, and 2, that I'm engaging well with my customers. On the employee side, one of the critical things that we see organizations needing is to enable their sales folks at their moment of need. So a salesperson may have a meeting coming up this afternoon. What do they have at their fingertips to help them better be prepared for that meeting in terms of content, the ability to collaborate with their peers, and maybe get coaching from their manager or from your team, Tim? And then on the customer side, in terms of customer engagement, outside of using Zoom to talk to somebody, what else can I be doing to have a personalized experience with that customer, again, outside of Zoom?
And one of the things I love, and obviously I've seen it, firsthand, and what Tim had just shared, everybody, that I just think is such a powerful concept, a rep's moment of need. Think about that for a second. A rep who wants or needs something in their moment of need versus we're going to send you to an 8-hour workshop for sales training? Which one would the rep want? Obviously, they're going to want things with regard to their moment of need. And I love that. And what their platform does is so cool. So what do you think are some of the keys based on what's happened for sales managers and service leaders from a leadership perspective during this transition?
You know, I really do. I really do believe that it is about addressing that moment of need that we've been talking about, Tim, and enabling, for example, a rep who might want to be delivering a piece of content out to a customer to quickly see a video or view a video of what good looks like in terms of delivering that content. Or, maybe a handful of win stories in that same vertical that the rep is going to be talking to a customer in, so that they know and can really tell stories about how their customers are utilizing their platform. And then kind of coming back around to this collaboration capability in their moment of need, really enabling them to maybe practice their pitch and get some feedback from their manager before they actually engage with the customer. And then taking that a step further, kind of post meeting with the customer, enabling the rep to send a personalized thank you video to the customer, summarizing what happened at that event.
And what's so cool about what you're sharing, Tim, is you've used this constantly as we've known each other for a while, the word collaboration and practice. Now think about that just for a second, everybody, with sales teams. It sounds like an oxymoron, doesn't it? Sales teams collaborating with each other and practicing with each other. We've always done that in this traditional sense of training, and yet Allego has created this platform where it makes it easy and it really leverages something we teach, peer-to-peer coaching. People will practice when they're with their peers. People will practice when it's in their moment of need. Would you agree with that?
I do, and as we've learned, and as Allego really supports, it has to be dead easy, or the reps won't do it. So it's got to be dead easy for the reps, dead easy for the manager, and that's really, probably the most important thing that one can think about when enabling, moment of need capabilities and practicing and coaching.
Well, and it's really interesting. One thing that we didn't plan on discussing today that I'll kind of throw into the mix that I think is so interesting is your company's been doing this a while, video-based sales coaching, video-based service coaching, really providing a lot of functionality. Do you feel like this has really helped teams, especially with this new virtual selling world? Because we're used to being in front of people versus looking into a camera. Has that helped a lot of your clients?
It absolutely has helped our clients. And when you kind of bundle up the idea of, augmenting that with some best practice information, win stories, the ability to further collaborate, that's really what's enabling our customers to make B players A players and C players B players, because there's only so much they're going to learn in a formal training session where they're going to where we all spend a lot of time learning is from our peers in discussions, collaborating, etc. And that's what's really driving the needle in terms of enhancing performance.
Well, and it's funny because I have a degree in adult education from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, and I still remember my professor, Dr. Russell Robinson, said something 34, 35 years ago. People learn best when the material directly applies to them. 35 years later, it's never been more important. And I love that you just shared that. Two more questions. What are some specific recommendations you might make to sales and service organizations as we sit here today?
I feel like I might be being a little redundant, but I think it's really those things that we've been talking about. Think about the rep's moment of need and what's important for them to succeed in that next sales call or next service call. What do they need at their fingertips? And then on the customer engagement side, what tools, capabilities do they need to just extend that interaction a little bit more and make it a little more meaningful?
Yeah, and I think the one thing is I've had the privilege of talking to some of your customers, and I had asked them, I said, how are your sales teams utilizing the Allego platform? And one of the first things that they always bring up is, as you said before, Tim, is collaboration. The second thing is I asked the question, I said, how do they practice? And they always make this comment, it's been a pleasant surprise. Because most of us, when we're in training sessions, you never see anybody yell, yippee, we're going to role play. We typically get rolling of the eyes, shrugging of the shoulders. Yet you've created a platform that makes it very easy for people to be vulnerable. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and it's enabling people to be vulnerable, but also enabling sales reps and service reps to practice before they push a coaching response to a manager. And that also gives them some comfort that they're not on the spot until they really get their story down. And so we see in the platform that reps often practice 3, 4, 5, 6 times before they'll push something back to their manager. Game done. Like, we won if a rep is practicing that many times. At some level, I don't care what the end result is. It's better than it was them going out and not practicing at all.
Well, and the old cliche has always been, if you're not going to practice internally, you're going to be practicing on clients.
On the client.
So it's interesting because you've really shared a lot about how Allego can help organizations today. How does somebody reach out to Allego? What's your contact info? What's the best way to engage with your company?
I mean, generally speaking, it's www.allego.com. You can ask for a rep to follow up with you, and we will promptly follow up.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time today, Tim. It's been awesome. And I would tell you, everybody, as we look at sales coaching and sales leadership from a podcast perspective, we're always looking for innovative companies. And I can tell you firsthand, when I saw Allego's platform, my eyes lit up. It leverages probably the most trusted form of coaching, which is peer-to-peer. And Tim just alluded to that before you go to your manager, before you go to your coach. The second thing is collaboration. When people can collaborate on real-world deals outside of this thing called the classroom, your sales team is going to be really, really far ahead of the competition. Thanks again for your time today, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Coaching Conversations by Tim Hagen and Progress Coaching. Now, our company is always coming out with new and innovative solutions to help leaders coach their employees. And recently, we just created a new service called Coach to You, where leaders can pick and choose topics and assign 7 to 21-day programs for employees to learn and, more importantly, apply actions and then reflect and share what they're going to do going forward as a result of the learning. It's called Coach to You. We're literally bringing coaching to your employees. If you're intrigued, we'll have a link in each one of our episodes where you can get more information. And again, thank you so much for listening to another episode.